Hello and welcome to Shoreline Music Monthly, episode 41 tonight. I think we have a darn good one, but I just want to just give a quick shout out to Matthew and the Bottle It Up crew. Put on a wonderful fundraiser to raise money for Smilo's Closer to Free Fund last weekend, and also to the musicians, the smorgasbord that kind of came together in a cohesive unit to play music for the day. We had Wendy Ingram, who you may remember playing in episode 5, playing the pedal steel with Brian May, and who is also currently has a camera trained on me. Her husband Gordon, Chris Funk, who played guitar with Carl Suter in episode 2, and his daughter Laura, who was brave enough to be on our very first episode singing harmony with Frank Nurkowski. So thanks to everyone, and Matthew, it went great. We're going to get the kazoos a little more involved next year, so practice. Also this month, we're going to try a new segment. We're going to introduce you folks to some of the other music hosts around the state of Connecticut that focus on local music. So I'm very happy to have, coming down a little bit later in the show, Dot Ames, who is the host of Grandma's Attic, and we're going to chat a little bit in a little while. But to get to the meat and potatoes of tonight's episode, our musical guest, I'm very happy to have in the studio with me tonight, Robert C. Fullerton.
Thank you.
Glad you could make it in, my friend.
It's good to be invited.
Absolutely. I realized that one question that I have actually never asked a guest, which I don't know why, but songwriter,
yes,
musician, guitarist. Why write?
Why? Why not?
What caused?
At this point in my life, I don't know. I've always been involved with music. I've been playing guitar since I was 12. Involved in different ways, shapes and forms, a lot of different ways. And I don't know, I think when I was a teenager, I wrote my first song. It was probably horrible, and I thankfully don't remember it. But and I'd always, with other people, I'd write, I'd do music, I'd arrange and do this. But I've really only been songwriting about 6 or 7 years now, and it's kind of, I think it's infectious. The more you do it, hopefully the better you get at it, and the more, I don't know, it's not just a self-expression, it's just, I don't know, that's just something about it.
Creative outlet?
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, falling in love with it, you know.
Because I know that you are somewhat focused on it as well. You've just started perhaps you could tell us about your new venture with songwriting.
Yeah, I had done a songwriter series before about 3 years ago, and it kind of ended when the venue itself closed. But
it happens.
Yeah, it did. I've got one now. We just had our first session the other night with Gracie Day at a lesson place up in Torrington, and having one guest songwriter and wanting a small crowd. They could fit in a room like this and just play a few songs, original songs, talk about them, talk about the stories behind them, how you wrote them, entertain questions. Yeah, the process, whether it's the music part, the lyric part. And it was really nice the other night because, you know, people felt free to just, you know, say, I've got a question. I want to know about that song. What about, how do you approach this? How do you do this? And that's really what I'm hoping it will continue as.
It sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
What do we got new coming up? Are we working on new stuff? You mentioned you already have a couple albums out.
I released in 2013 a 9-song album called Never Too Late.
Mm-hmm. So we have one here. Nice.
Yep, that's it. And a year ago I released, it took me about a year and a half to make another 9-song album called Let It Rain. And I'm currently in the process of an album that I pared down from about 15 songs to 11 songs, and now it's back up to 15 songs, but not the same original 15. So, but yeah, that I think I'll do like John Mayer did and release it in stages. You know, release 3 or 4 songs. A few months later, release a few more, and then when it's done, you release them in CD or album form. So. Just $4 in my pocket, and I'm wondering how far it will take me from this place if I hop inside my car. I keep pulling up my bootstraps, they somehow hide, living on a shoestring, about to come untied. Suppose my mirror is enchanted, and all the things I see aren't even close to what they are. They're just what I wish they'd be. I keep pulling up my bootstraps, they somehow hide, living on a shoestring that's about to come untied. Maybe if I knuckle down and buckle down, I could move into a sweeter part of town. Lay down my plans and schemes, give up my schemes. Maybe I could get ahead. Oh. Well, I'm down to just 2 quarters, 3 nickels and a dime. If a genie ever came my way, with my luck he'd charge me for his time. I keep pulling up my bootstraps, they somehow hide, living on a shoestring, about to come untied. Pulling up my bootstraps, they somehow hide, living on a shoestring, it just came untied.
All right, well, I am back with Robert C. Fullerton, and he has agreed to play From the Hip with me. We're just going to ask some questions that may not always get asked in a normal interview, and some that just maybe shouldn't be asked. but no, it's not like that.
No.
But you're a guitarist.
Yes.
And I was just curious if you have a favorite.
Favorite guitar?
Favorite guitarist.
Oh, guitarist. Oh, geez.
All guitars are favorites, right?
Yeah, yes, exactly. An actual favorite, a guy named Tuck Andrus, maybe.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I do not know that name.
Wyndham Hill Records, Tuck and Patty. You'll find him under. But he's one of these guys that does, he's playing with his thumb and he's playing bass lines.
Percussive
and percussive. And you'd swear you'd hear 3 people playing. Him, Tommy Emmanuel is up there too, love that
This
style.
is why I ask these questions,
Yeah.
because I just want to find people I haven't heard of yet. And another question, red or white?
Red.
Okay. Your favorite local-ish place to just see music, not play, but on a night that you may be able to get out, and it doesn't have to be defined. It could be a club that's loud and noisy. It could be a listening space. It could be just whatever your favorite.
Infinity Hall, Norfolk, Connecticut, the original one. Little teeny 300-seat venue.
Cool. That is cool.
Yeah, built in the 1800s originally.
Got to see Charlie Musselwhite there, the only time I've seen him, and that was fabulous.
Yeah, it's just a very homey, the sound is great. You know,
yeah, very nice. And it's a little difficult to get to from Clinton.
For me, from where I live, it's about 30 minutes, so
yeah, that's
not bad at all.
Not bad at all. Yeah. The one I ask every guest is your stance on cannolis as a food. Are we pro or con cannoli?
Can you make me a bacon one?
I might even like them then. All right, I'll live with that answer. Bacon cannoli, yes. And in the greater big picture of life, yes, any music that you like, I get it. It's good music. But what is it that you might listen to that maybe, just maybe, you kind of do it on the down low and maybe don't let your friends know that you're listening to it? Well, you might be termed a guilty pleasure. Because no one will see this.
Yeah, no. Well, when you go out and you want to go dance somewhere, the music I wouldn't normally listen to is the best music for it. So, you know, the hip-hop-ish stuff that I wouldn't normally listen to.
It's all about the bass? We need some bass in there.
Yeah. You need a pulse.
All right.
So.
And for songwriting, where would you say where is your favorite place to write?
Oh, geez. I pretty much write wherever I can, but...
Are you a scribble pad in the back pocket guy?
I am. I have an app on my phone for writing notes, so I've got that. If I know I'm going somewhere, I have a couple of diaries, you know, and a pencil that I can sit down, and then I've got a legal pad somewhere. So it's just
turns of phrase and things of that nature.
Yeah, for me, it's like, and as I was telling somebody the other night, write down anything and everything, even if it's just a 2-word idea. You write it down and you save it.
The next day you'll never remember what it was.
Right, and plus you never know. Like I had one song that's going to be in my new album that took 3 years to write, almost to the date. It was like 2 weeks apart. I wrote the chorus. You know, it was one of those ones that came just like this. You know, and just kind of was stuck with it, and you know, set it aside, tried to get somebody else, you know, said, you want to co-write it? And didn't ever went anywhere. So finally I sat down and said, okay, it's time to write, pulled out my journal that had the chorus in it, happened to come across another section from another idea, and it's like, you know, it's not going to fit like it is, but the essence of it and the ideas of it, and the song was finished in an hour. So...
Not a great business model, three years a song, but nice to have it done, right?
But if it becomes that one song that, you know.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for playing my silly game. I appreciate it.
Some Sunday after sunset, I go out to gather in some air. Familiar feelings of a phantom far from here. A week, a month, a year or two, still my thoughts all come back to you. Night, glass of red. Slowly the wine starts to fog my head. Still one thing seems to always burn through my memories of you. Find myself losing sight of things unseen. Silent sound summons someone far from here. A sip of glass, carafe or two. Still my thoughts all come back to you. Full moon, starry night, glass of red. Slowly the wine starts to fog my head. Still one thing seems to always burn through. My memories of you. Time can't do what the miles have done. Can't undo what we've become. The wine may dull the thoughts of some. Always brings my mind back to you. Silent sounds summon someone far from here. A sip of glass, carafe or two. Still my thoughts all come back to you. Full moon, starry night, glass of red. Slowly the wine starts to fog my head. Still one thing seems to always burn through. My memories of you. My memories of you. My memories of you.
Hello, folks, again. This is just a new kind of a segment I thought of. There's obviously lots of people other than us that are hosting local music television shows. And nowadays, the way that the platform works, you don't really have to be in there, even in their area. There's, some have YouTube pages, some may stream. There's various platforms where they can be seen. So I thought it would be wonderful if maybe once or twice a year we maybe bring someone else in who's fighting the good fight, for local music. And this month, our first time giving this a whack, I'm very happy to have with me Grandma Dot from Grandma's Attic.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
And it's great to see you.
It's neat to be on the other side of the interviewing table, so to speak.
Well, yeah. How's that feel?
It feels a little bizarre. I don't feel like I have control.
I never feel like I do either.
I like to have control. My director will tell you I'm a control freak. So
okay.
Yeah, it's nice to be here, though.
So maybe introduce yourself to our viewers.
Certainly.
The show is out of New London.
We're out of Atlantic Broadband. That's where we do our taping, is the Atlantic Broadband Public Access Studio. And we air every Saturday night on Channel 24 Public Access on Atlantic Broadband. But we also go out of Comcast here in, no, not here, in Old Lyme, which takes it up to the whole 395 corridor and Norwich and Montville. And we also go over to the other side to Groton, to that Comcast station, and all those Comcast stations air on Channel 12 at 10 o'clock on Saturday nights.
Wonderful.
So that's the following week. It's like we'll tape tomorrow. Tomorrow we're taping our 100th show, by the way.
That's big.
Well, yeah.
41 for us. We're not even halfway there.
You will be. You will be.
And who will be the guest?
Tomorrow we have Hugh Birdsall,
Oh, nice. Very nice.
you know, from Reducers fame and 3-Pack fame and Dog Bite fame and just Hugh Birdsall fame. So we're really excited to be having him on our 100th show.
That's great. What got you doing it, or?
Long story short, I have been doing a radio show for a very long time on WCNI New London. That's 90.9 FM. You can also get it on iHeartRadio.com. Let me do a little soliciting. That's on Monday mornings from 6 to 9, and I've been doing that for about 10 years, coming up on 11 years, I think.
Wow.
And
What number show is that? Do we keep count
I
still
don't
after
know.
that?
I couldn't tell you. No, I don't count. Not my radio shows. I stopped counting after about the first third year, fourth year, I don't know. I stopped counting anyway. And I had been a guest or brought musical guests onto a couple of shows at the local access station. And Mary Jane Ricard, who's the manager of the station, said to me, "You really should do a music show." And I'm like, "Oh no, you're not going to get me on TV." And she
And
kept
100 episodes later.
right. The fact is, there's such a large plethora of really great music in the Connecticut, Rhode Island
There absolutely
area
is.
that the show isn't about me, not even a little bit. It's really all about the music. You know, I'm on screen to introduce the show and then to do a brief interview like you do.
And then
Just-
let them play.
Yep, and let them play. That's what it's really all about, is getting people's music out there. I love to have really original. We just had Someone You Can X-Ray. I love them.
They're fun.
Absolutely love them. We had to tape a show on Saturday because that was the only way we could get them on the show, but absolutely
Well,
wonderful.
they've been on before, too, on you, isn't this?
Yeah,
this
this
their
is second time.
Yeah.
Yep, this is the second time.
Hello.
This is Jabez, and he's the star of my show.
Okay. Well, he seems to be the star of this one at the moment as well. And you mentioned a thing about how you have people who help, and that's, I think sometimes people don't realize that, you know, there's, you know, a half a dozen other people in this room. They see me and they see the guest.
Yeah.
But there's, you know, a lot of folks who are, you know, they're here just, you know, working just, well, actually probably harder.
Maybe
To be
harder.
honest,
Maybe
probably
harder.
harder.
I have an audio engineer that comes in and brings all his sound equipment and makes sure that the sound for us is spot on.
And it's music. You need
Yep,
that. Yes.
we do. That's why we set up early and do what we do. But he and I have a gaffer, Bob, and my assistant producer is Edwin, and then of course my director, Chris. And
Who's
they,
here?
Yep, who wouldn't let me come without him. He wanted to make sure I behaved. I like people to see who they can go see out for entertainment because we tell them, you know, like you do, you can go see so-and-so wherever.
That's why we have every Wednesday or Thursday, there's a weekend guide on our Facebook page.
Nice.
So if, you know, feel free to send along any details of shows you think are
Nice.
important, because I try to get as much out as I can, but it's, you know,
We're also
time
on
is,
Facebook. We're on Facebook and we're on YouTube. We will be putting up our 100th show on YouTube.
So all
And
the episodes are available on the YouTube channel?
absolutely
That's
on YouTube
perfect.
under Grandma's Attic Music Review. It's pretty easy to find.
It's unending. I think that changes must be pending, even though they are upending the bedrock of my life. It's unending. These mixed up signals you keep sending, frequencies are ending and driving in the knife. I get to the end to find that there's still more. It's just a loop, runs right through my door and brings me back again. Said it brings me back again. I tried turning pages, but the stream of nonsense, it still rages. Seems I'm locked in my own cages, even though I hold the key. I keep seeing places I know I've been before, 'cause it's just a loop that runs right through my door and brings me back again. Said it brings me back again. No matter how things change, still remain the same. I feel like a pawn caught up in a madman's game that brings me back again. Said it brings me back again. Yeah, it brings me back again. Oh, it brings me back again.
Well, thank you once again for watching Shoreline Music Monthly. We'll see you again next month, and in the meantime, please remember, you are the local in the local music scene, so please get out and support it. We'll see you next month.